paka paka wooka cheeky 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 wooka paka waka waka wooka cheeky 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 wooka paka.
So episode 14 begins with Krista being upset about Boogie being gone. We get a video of the boy band 2 Hype, which Kent watches from the outside. Little things like that. They show the house, Boogie's goodbye message for Krista, which they didn't show Shannon's for Will, and they didn't show other affected house guests message. Hardy says that his view of others is clearer after this past week. He's lost respect for some, while gained respect for others. Says he can only nominate people he feels no longer deserve to be in the household. I'm not sure how much of his reasoning is, well, the jury sees this, America sees this, so sort of trying to use that to get votes. But I'm not a fan of the keeping people or getting rid of it based on what you feel someone deserves. It's not something that I'm a fan of, though. And when he's using this logic, he can't surely say that nominations aren't personal. Surely he can't, right? He talks to Nicole, wondering what Bunky would have done had he won HOH. Nicole says that he's scrambling. He said that he'd vote how they want, which makes Hardy sick. He also says that he likes Will, and doesn't think he's a bad guy. So Will's got his way in there. He's got his claws in Hardy a bit. Enough anyway. Bunky talks to Hardy and says exactly what Nicole said to him that Bunky had said to her. Hardy doesn't mind Bunky as a person, but he's incredibly needy. Hardy doesn't seem to like the needy. Don't be needy with him. Hardy says that he's not one to change his personality, his morals, his values, for which I would argue that you kind of can't change your morals, just that what value you place higher, which is just sort of what value is a higher priority of yours is being showcased. There's a phrase being uttered by Krista, the untouchables, which she perceives to be the two of them as well as Monica, but he's not so high on Monica as perhaps Krista is. He says Kent's actions as HOH were unacceptable to most people. Says he burnt a lot of bridges trying to form alliances with everyone. This could have... Okay. I wouldn't be surprised if this is something that perhaps Will was putting in their heads a little bit. But obviously don't see that, so I can't say one way or the other. He says Will has reason to be nervous. We saw Nicole saying to Will that Kent's gonna go. Hardy said that he's close to Nicole and Krista and gonna do what he can to see them as the last two standing. I think that meant the last two along with him, so them in the final three. Says it's a game, and in order for him to win, everyone else has to lose. Food competition. So everyone's responsible for a day of the week, and they have 5 minutes to drink the food that they had previously asked for, that they had requested. Hardy put a thread out there saying that noms haven't been made yet, and he likes to eat. The only person who failed was Krista, so they will have to eat peanut butter and jelly for that day. Kent mentioned Hardy's threat at the end, but that Hardy was acting at the end as if it was his fault that Krista had failed so he's sort of thinking that him and Bunky could get nominated. Yeah, don't put a threat out there if you're not going to follow through. Kent's running out of cigarettes, and he was shown complaining that he didn't get some as a luxury item when he was HOH. Bunky's worried people will want to vote Kent out if he's being too grouchy from being off cigarettes. So Kent's now on patches. Bunky doesn't like the image of them as a pair, so he's trying to separate himself a bit. Kent thinks that Hardy wants Nicole and Krista at the final three because they can't win the HOH, which Krista's already won one, and Nicole's going to win, I believe, the next one. So I don't know about that. Kent told Monica that he had her back, and she found what he was saying suspect. She had said to him a couple weeks ago that she ain't stupid. She knows everything going on. She's not gonna get played. Bunky again is trying to distance himself from Kent without upsetting him. This is because he believes Kent's going to be gone soon, which he will be. And Hardy doesn't want Bunky to win HOH. And we get a Bunky and Hardy conversation. America voting at the end, if there's a tie, was mentioned. Bunky asks, hasn't he earned his trust? Couldn't he just say to Bunky to not tell Kent something instead of just not being told anything due to being friends with Kent? He doesn't feel it's fair to him. I've left out a bit of what was said prior to this. Hardy mentions that it's a game, which he does a lot. He really does it a lot. And I don't exactly get why something being a game would make actions okay that wouldn't be otherwise, and vice versa, but that's me. He asks Hardy if he's threatened by him to win. Hardy says no. Hardy gives the same question. Bunky says yes. And Hardy says, you know, it's funny, I'm not even trying to actually win. And he looks down as he's saying this, which I thought was potentially a tell that he could be lying. It's like, you know, having to say you're not actually trying to win. We get a Nicole's falling in love with Will segment, according to Will at least. Sort of a game of chicken with Will in the shower and Nicole pretending like she's going to get in and seeing who cracks first, where obviously Nicole ends up cracking first. Next segment, we see Nicole talking about Hardy being down the previous night. Still, we see him venting to her about how he's kind of been the a-hole. He doesn't like the downside of being HOH. Bunky says to Kent they're going up. They basically agree the others suck. Kent DR saying that Hardy's in a power position and his allegiances don't include himself, Bunky, or Monica, and they may include Will, even though he previously said that he would do what he could to take out the Chilltown members. And may include Will, even though he'd previously stated that he wouldn't rest until Chilltown members were out. Hardy decides to nominate Kent and Will. Because of some things that happened the past week, he has doubts about Kent and felt pressured by him to choose a side, which is something he said he didn't want. And Will is the last remaining Chilltown member. During all of this, Hardy was choked up while he was speaking. Kent feels there are people he can trust, but when the trust is betrayed, you just kind of say that this is a pit of predators. Will thinks that this could go either way. and wouldn't be surprised if people rallied behind Kent and sent him out. We'll get to the next episode. I'm sort of interested. It's obviously not this week, but in seeing the downfall of Krista, which is next week, where I think Nicole wins HOH. So this is jumping ahead a bit, but I'm interested to see how exactly that happens. For Monica, I'll have to obviously think about it a little bit more, but this could have been a week to try and take Will out for her. But in thinking of the votes, you'd have Bunky, it would be Bunky and Monica then against what would be Krista and Nicole, so it'd be 2-2 with the tie. So yeah, Monica's not in. Yeah. So we'll get to the next episode. Bye.